Hello everybody, welcome to the 16th episode of the Pitchcast. Actually, this is the 17th episode because yesterday I was planning on releasing the Christmas episode because of the hiatus, but it is fine, I am back. I just needed new materials. I got a new microphone, I got a new camera, I got LED lights, I got everything like that to help boost my podcast, and I was looking for a lot of guests. I am now looking for a little bit of consistency with my podcast, but I'm going to try and upload a little more often. I'm going to try and get with bigger people because I feel like that's the way I can expand my channel for more of like a single person podcast, more of like a multi-person, maybe two hosts, things like that podcast. Now, today's episode, I just want to talk about the two things. One, the cancellation of the Houston Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunder game, because that was a really new and touchy subject. And two, the 2020 NBA season recap, such as NBA news, NBA statistics. One big thing was the Houston Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunder cancellation. Now, OKC and Houston were expected to play a game for the debut for both the teams, but a huge thing broke out a few days ago, actually. The Houston Rockets lost James Harden due to he was out in Las Vegas partying away, but James Harden declined those accusations, obviously, as any NBA player should, during press conferences. And someone on the Rockets got COVID, quarantining the rest of the NBA, their NBA team. Now they were about to play one of their two-way players until he got finished off with contact tracing and was not able to play. Now this would be big for the Houston Rockets because this will be the first debut of John Wall and James Harden and DeMarcus Cousins all together in a regular season game. But this matchup was postponed until a later date. I have no idea when that date is. And also the Oklahoma City Thunder. It will be a big part of the 2020-21 recap because they have set huge records for the NBA, such as picks and etc. The Rockets now, I think, are either having a hardship player to sign while they're using injury, or they're going to get someone, or they're just going to wait until everybody's not quarantined. That's going to be a little while, though, because I think James Harden got suspended. Yeah, he got suspended for a few days, and yeah, he's going to be out. And the Oklahoma City Thunder have a pretty bad team because they're just now realizing that they can't play draft pick. Yeah, they can't suit up draft picks and make them play in games. I know it's the most original joke that anybody has probably ever heard of the Oklahoma City Thunder, but the Oklahoma City Thunder, that joke stems from a reality that they have a lot of picks. They have 32 picks, including second rounds, in the next 6 years. Now, I had said the reality that OKC had 32 32 picks in the next 6 years, including seconds. Now, that is a reality that was not true a few years ago, and that is because OKC has evolved. And this will kind of stem into the recap of 2020, but I'm going to do a quick rewind back into 2018 with the Oklahoma City Thunder getting Paul George in the trade. It was Victor Oladipo, Domantas Sabonis, and I think 1 or 2 first-round picks for Paul George. And then they got Carmelo Anthony for Enes Kanter, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but someone else plus a first-round pick. And then they got Melo. Now, most title contending teams have a few first-round picks, or few picks in general. But the Oklahoma City Thunder has changed that reality now to you can trade for as many picks as you want. And now that reality is becoming an actuality for other teams. It used to just be Oklahoma City Thunder's own little world bubble that they were in, that they were the only team that had a lot of picks. But now you see other teams like the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers doing the same thing. And this all kind of stemmed off of the Philadelphia 76ers process. Now, this process was Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. This starts off by just having all the players know, like, we live in a world of uncertainty right now. And not regarding COVID, but regarding I would say more of like, you don't know if you're going to be traded or not, or you don't know if when you're going to be traded or where you're going to be traded. And also draft picks, a lot of draft picks. You don't know who you're going to be playing with the next day. It's a lot of uncertainty in rebuilding teams. And the Thunder have kind of put that there, put the pedal on the metal, and really just like overblown that kind of scenario where they're bringing back old players who didn't know that they would be playing, such as Al Horford and Frank Jackson, who both didn't get playing time that much on their old teams. But you would see this happen a lot. And now the Thunder are bringing back and giving them playing time. They're basically giving older people a stepping stool to prove themselves. Like the G League, and that's why I like the G League so much. It can teach so many young players so much about the league. And that's what's nice about the G League. And the rebuilding teams, they give everybody a stepping stool. And you also mainly see rebuilding teams targeting younger players, like the Thunder with Poku and Kelly Oubre Jr., but then traded him for a first-round pick. You'll see this in a lot of rebuilding teams. They go for younger players. They'll go for it in free agency, and they'll go for like 19-year-olds in the draft, which is a very interesting topic to talk about. The reason behind so few 22-year-olds being drafted instead of 19-year-olds, but I'll talk about that in the next video. I have a lot of video ideas, and I'm producing a few right now, so you can kind of guess that the timing of videos will not be produced as soon, with editing and producing all jam-packed into a little day, where I still have to do everything else, like basketball, everything else like that, and still fit in editing and producing into there. The uploading process takes the longest. I usually just take one take, which is really interesting. An editor's note, quick editor's note. I don't think this is an editing note because I'm not editing this right now, but this is actually a face reveal. I had planned on doing a face reveal a long time ago, actually, with the render distance, the first episode of the render distance. I had thought that I would do a face reveal, but and it turns out that this is the episode I did the face reveal. I got myself a camera and LED lights, and yeah, in a future episode, probably episode like 25, I'll show you how I make a full podcast. I'll go through the way that I do the podcast. It's a very fun way. It's a really big evolution, and I feel like this is one big step in the right direction. And I got Photoshop, so these thumbnails, I hope with my fullest heart that these thumbnails will be like really clickbaity, like every other thumbnail that you see in on YouTube. And yeah, I'm also hoping on getting big players. Like, I might be reaching out to my local college, the Montana Grizzlies, to get players and to get what they think. What's the process of playing basketball or college sports in Division I? Because we have a Division I school nearby, and that's really cool. Also, maybe high school players. I might be interviewing high school players, but I am looking on expanding. We are trying to line up right now a podcast with a Montana House seat. Not like the House seat, but one of the House district seats for Montana. And then I hope I can expand to like the governor. We've had all these talks with people. We've been going back and forth with a lot of people. And it is very possible. Like, it could be tomorrow that I do end up going somewhere, but you just never know. It's always an unlikely scenario that, you know, tomorrow I somehow end up meeting the next LeBron James. Like, I meet LaMelo Ball, but it is possible that I have been in contact, but I will start YouTube advertising to grow this channel so that I can get a bigger audience and kind of have like a part-time job with this. I mean, this is fun. I've put in a lot, and yeah, this is really a expansion thing. I am getting a little bit off topic, so let's get into the 2020 recap. I know this is gonna be a little hard to deal with because a lot of deaths have happened in the NBA world. Let's start off January 1st, 2020. David Stern had died of either a brain, something to do with his brain, either a stroke or something else. I knew it was something to do with his brain. He passed away around like 12 o'clock, I think. It was a really sad time. David Stern was an amazing commissioner. Turned the NBA from really a drug-filled, money-making machine into more of an organized sport. I feel like David Stern kind of started it, and he should be remembered for that. Therefore, the next big milestone mark was the passing of Kobe Bryant. Now, this is going to be really heavy because Kobe Bryant was an amazing player, and his game was, I wouldn't say flawless, but it was amazing. This was heavy for the whole entire basketball community and all the uncertainty with him and his daughter. I only wish well with their family. That was really bad for the entire basketball community. But then a little more lighthearted. On the 31st, I went to the Phoenix Suns Oklahoma City Thunder for the first time in 2020. It was fun. It was really hot in Phoenix compared to the temperature here in mid-January. It was actually January 31st and July 1st. And I actually plan on doing that a lot more, like going to NBA games and reporting on it, then showing you what it was like. Because for some people who don't end up going to NBA games every year, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting process to see what an NBA game is actually like. But I am working on a lot of things. You can send in your suggestions to CJ's podcasts at iCloud.com, and then I could get started working on that. I do have a few. I'll actually name some right now that I'm working on. I'm working on a timeline for the process. Like, what was the whole process? The Philadelphia 76ers trust the process. I'm working on a timeline for that. I'm working on a timeline of Russell Westbrook's career and how he kind of fell out of the loop. I'm working on the timeline of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I'm working on the 18th episode, which I'm not going to spoil it yet, but I'll tweet it out on Twitter. Follow my Twitter, it's jpijanowskic. I'll put it in the link in the description below. For those who, I don't know if you guys will be watching on Anchor right now, because I am going to be, or Spotify, and the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, yeah, I think that YouTube is going to be watching this. The podcast will have like a separate audio one. It's an interesting way to see how I split it up. It takes a lot of time, but YouTube is mainly like everything, which will be more than just like the Pidgecast. I do plan on branching out and more than just the Pidgecast, but staying on sports, you know? Like staying with, because I always have to remember where I come from. I always have to stay there. I do have a few setups that I'm setting up right now, and I do think that the next episode will be in 2021. So actually, no, it's going to be, the next episode will be either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, which will be the last unfortunate episode of 2020. It's been, it's not even my first year though. I'm still a rookie on YouTube. But we're getting off topic. Mid-February, COVID started to hit hard. Restrictions started to go into place, such as lockdowns became mandatory. A lot of players went into fear of what the season would look like. I know masks were mandated in late February. March is when it all shut down. I remember this clearly. March 11th, 2020. The NBA had shut down and officially canceled their season due to the coronavirus. Rudy Gobert and it was the Utah Jazz versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Rudy Gobert was out because he felt sick. He touched all the microphones in a press conference because he was so confident he didn't have it. But when they came to visit the Oklahoma City Thunder, they then found out right before the game that Rudy Gobert had COVID. And on March 11th, they kind of had a quick meeting with all the GMs, and then they decided the season's over. We have to cancel it, causing 2 lockout seasons, which would be last year and this year. A lot of players went into uncertainty, and I remember watching the Hawks game, Vince Carter's very last game. That was really heavy to know that Vince Carter's season was ended in that much uncertainty. That was really sad for all Hawks fans, and most especially all Vince Carter fans. And a lot of the Black Lives Matter protests started to rage up, or I wouldn't say rage up, but started to flare up around May or June. It was late May, early June, causing the NBA to allow a statement to be made on the back of each jerseys. Of course, the Rockets GM, I don't know who he is right now, but he spoke out against it. LeBron James tweeted out back at him. And, then the NBA allowed statements. And most of the statements allowed on the NBA players' jerseys were things like Black Lives Matter, equality, I can't breathe, speak up, things like that. And I think only a few players didn't. And in protest of that, a lot of players sat out of the season, staying out of the wait, I have it all wrong. So the NBA season had thought that we'd start regularly in this season, which would be the 2020-2021 season, and they would allow a statement for this season, but the NBA redid their season to the bubble, the ESPN's Sports Center. So this would cause a lot of controversy in the NBA. It was a very controversial episode. I believe I did make a podcast on this, but yeah, it was a very, very heavy time for the NBA. A lot of ratings were down. The NBA finals have happened, and that also reminds me of another episode, another thing I'm making. Episode 18. I guess I can kind of say it out now that I kind of have like a stepping stone for this. The NBA, my next episode, episode 18, last one in 2020, is who had the easiest path to the championship. I will be using a lot of math in this, so if you're not a big fan of math, just like leave your computer or put it on mute while you're watching the episode, so you can just still give me some views and valuable watch time. And then, yeah, it came December. NBA preseason started. A lot of things in the offseason happened. I did make an episode on that previously, though the episodes are not good. I can tell you the quality. I've been watching them back. I used to have this old microphone right here. It was a podcasting microphone right here. I guess I can show you it. It was this thing. It's actually a nice microphone. It was a big improvement, but still was very echoey compared to all the other microphones I got. And now this one, hopefully this doesn't make too much noise. This one I got right here is a Samsung microphone. And I also have another one, if I can find it. No, I'm not going to, actually. I got another microphone for that. Also, I believe, yeah, here you go. Got some LED lights to help kind of make it better. And also, I got the lighting source, the little remote. So next episode, probably you'll see me doing something like this. And you see how the color on my face kind of changed. I should probably move this a little bit over here. You see how the color on my face kind of changed. Like, look at the color on the table, on the mic, and on my hands. You see how it got darker? Yeah, I'm just changing the color. So, nothing's wrong with the camera. I'm just changing the microphone. That was a really, really off-tangent thingy. But, yeah, I'm getting a lot better quality, a lot better material, and I will be using Photoshop for thumbnails. So, yeah, and just, I hope you guys notice that the next few thumbnails will be kind of Photoshoppy. They will be not like, they're going to be kind of obnoxious. I have to learn the art of thumbnail making, though I have been trying. What else? December. I forgot to mention, mid-July, July 17th, 2020 is when I first released the podcast started. And then, July 20th, I released it, the first episode. And then I realized my channel birthday is February 18th, 2018. So my channel is 2 years old, about to become 3 years old. I will celebrate that with an episode, and I promise you that episode will be great. And that brings us to the end. Unfortunately, that was the end of this episode. Please leave a comment rating on how much of an improvement it was and what I can improve on next episode. Also, just check out the podcast on Spotify. It's called The Pitchcast. I would really love to hear you guys in the discussion, and really love to hear you guys join it. I am working on a lot of other things to make it more interactive with the community. And yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode.